Hello, happy Sunday. Welcome to another weekly reading vlog. I am currently sat on the floor where the chair used to be. I am getting a new armchair delivered today. So I've moved the old one out, and hopefully by the time this video goes live, the new chair will be here and you will have seen a little video on it, depending on if that went well. I thought I would just talk to you about the two books that I'm going to hopefully be reading during this vlog. So the first one is my Kindle book, and that is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. So finally getting to the second book in the Shepherd King duology. This one is obviously following on from One Dark Window, so I can't really, I actually haven't even read the synopsis of this because I didn't want to get any spoilers when I read the previous one, and then I just thought I'm just going to dive right in. But the previous book is about the main character Elspeth, who has a nightmare inside of her head who talks to her, which is a bad thing, and there is a magic system where there are some cards and the cards hold magic. She bumps into some men and then they go on a quest to try and collect all of the cards. So this one is the conclusion of that, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I have read the prologue and the first chapter, so I'm a little bit into this but not much at all, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck in. And then the physical book that I'm reading is one from my May TBR, and that is Vox by Christina Dalcher. I'm going to go with that for now. I will check. And this is about women in society they're only allowed to say just 100 words a day. There's something like that, and I know it's like a dystopian. This is one that has been on my bookshelves for years, and I've heard really mixed things about it, so I'm just ready to get this read so that I can find out if I like it. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly read the synopsis because again, I thought I knew what it was about and then I've literally just forgotten. Jean McClellan spends her time in almost complete silence, limited to just 100 words a day. Any more and 1,000 volts of electricity will course through her veins. Now the new government is in power, everything has changed, but only if you're a woman. Almost overnight, bank accounts are frozen, passports are taken away, and 70 million women lose their jobs. Even more terrifyingly, young girls are no longer taught to read or write. For herself, her daughter, and for every woman's silence, Jean will reclaim her voice. This is only the beginning. So yeah, this is obviously about women being restricted and unable to do certain things. I'm looking forward to starting this. I haven't started it. I put my bookmark in it, but I have not started it yet, so I will be reading this. So yes, as I mentioned, my armchair should be coming hopefully at some point today. They haven't given me a delivery time, just some point. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. And other than that, I haven't got any plans for the rest of the day, so I'm hoping I can just get a lot of reading done. So it's now almost 11 o'clock and I have basically been sat here reading pretty much all evening. So I am now almost 50% of the way through Vox. I wouldn't say enjoying it is the word to use here, but I can't put it down. The chapters are really short and just so much is happening, so it's really like it's gripping me. So every time I'm like, okay, I'll put it down for a minute, something happens at the end of a chapter and I need to carry on. Yeah, it's just a little bit scary how real it feels and how it just feels like this is something that could very easily happen. It's a world where people are taking rights away from women. They are not allowed to work. They are not allowed to do anything. They can only speak for 100 words a day, and if they go over that, they get a shock, and the shocks get worse the more, depending on how many words they go over. They basically just have to stay at home and provide for their husband and their children. And as I said, it's a really heavy topic. It's supposed to be a dystopian, but it just, yeah, you could just see how this is something that could very easily happen in today's society with everything that's been going on. So it's quite intense, but I'm interested to see where this goes because the main character starting to do things, small acts of defiance. She is clearly realising that doing nothing isn't helping. So I'm interested to see where the rest of this book will take me. But as I said, I'm finding it as again, I can't say, oh, finding it enjoyable. It's not enjoyable at all. It's horrible to read in the sense, but I want to continue. I want to keep reading it. I want to know what's happening next. I want, I'm hoping that things get better. Yeah, so as I said, I'm possibly about halfway through now. I'm on page 188. So I might even get this finished tomorrow, with it being the bank holiday and not having any other plans. But I think I'm going to get myself upstairs and into bed and potentially carry on with this and see how far I get. So, yeah, it is Monday today and it is a bank holiday, so I'm not at work, which is great. So my plan for today is to sit here and read my book. I've got myself a caramel latte, which is much needed this morning because I'm feeling very tired. And I have made a really good progress on Vox. So I'm now on page 239, chapter 57. So I'm quite a chunk of the way through this. I think I'm about 60-70% of the way through, and it's sort of slowing down a little bit now. I'm still finding it such a quick read. It's really intriguing to me. There's been some things that have been revealed, sort of, and I'm not sure how I feel about them. It's so difficult because I'm trying not to spoil anything, so it's a bit vague, but I don't know how I feel about it. I think it really depends how everything wraps up, and what happens will depend on exactly how I feel about it. But I have a feeling that I will get this finished today, which again is really good. Like it's not a huge amount of pages. I think it's 326, so yeah, not too many pages left to go really. But yeah, I'm finding the writing style is fine. I saw a few reviews saying that the writing style wasn't great, and that they found that it was really scientific and without emotion. I'm not finding that. I do find that I'm not super connected with the characters, but also a lot of the characters are kind of really awful people. So it's then one of those that how can you then connect with them? But the main character, she seemed I'm quite interested. She again is not the best of a person. She's not, perfect at all. She's not a great character either. But yeah, I can understand why she's done some of the things. As I said, there's been a little bit of a reveal, but it's kind of just been told to us, which I'm not a fan of, but I want to see how that will continue. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I'll get this finished today. So yeah, I will keep you posted on my thoughts. A little update from Dottie and I. So I have finished Vox, and the ending has actually disappointed me a little bit. I really enjoyed the first half of this book, and then I thought it was so fast paced. It was really quick. I was really engaged. Then I felt it started to lose me a little bit, and then the last sort of 100 to 50 pages, kind of just so there was this whole big thing that they're all working towards. Obviously, there's this whole they're only allowed to speak 100 words a day, and they're then trying to suppress women even more, and the main character Jean is trying to prevent that in her own way. There's like this rebellion, but the ending just it it wrapped up everything really nicely in a way, but it just told you what happened, and even then it didn't completely tell you what happened. It kind of glossed over a lot, and it was more like telling rather than actually showing you what happened. It was kind of just at the end, this happened, and then now everything's fine and back to normal. There was no, here's this big thing that happened, here's how that even turned out, like exactly what happened there. You just kind of get told partially what happens, and then the ending is just, yeah, everything's now going back to normal. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more on that, and a little bit more of how are things going to get back to normal, what's happening with that. So yeah, I think overall I'm going to give this 3 stars. It was teetering on a 4-star at the beginning, but I think, yeah, it kind of lost me in the second half, but it was a quick read. I think the premise was really, really interesting. The whole sort of scenario was really interesting, really intriguing, and there was a lot of moments in this that were just really, really uncomfortable, a lot of things. But I also found that there was a lot of discussion. Obviously it is about women being oppressed and women being expected to stay at home and serve their husband and things like that. But then also the female main character was also, she was saying that her husband was weak because he would have hit somebody or cause a scene, things like that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not sure how that makes things better, but yeah, like that is also not great either. So I don't know, I think, yeah, it just didn't hit as hard as I was hoping that it would. But overall, not bad, but not fantastic either. As I said, I think the ending just kind of lost me with this one, unfortunately. I wanted just a little bit more, but yeah, 3 stars I think. So yeah, I will be picking my next physical book soon. So we are going to do my favourite thing and let the dice decide the next read. So I finished Vox, I finished Castle in the Air, so we have 4 books left. So I have my D4 here, and I'm going to roll that to find out what we read next. 3, so 1, 2, 3. The 3rd book in the Filthy Rich Vampire series, 3 Queens, is what I will be reading physically next. Pretty much haven't moved from this spot all day, other than to pop to the shops earlier and to eat, and yeah, I am pretty happy about that. It's been the best Monday bank holiday I've had in a while. So surprisingly, I actually haven't read loads. So I have been reading 2 Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is the 2nd book in the Shepherd King duology. I'm sure I've already given a synopsis, but I'm now up to part 2 in this. I'm 121 pages in, and I think it's about 25% of the way through. So it has picked up pretty much straight after the first one ended, and it's right into the story already. I'm finding this one has been a lot quicker to get into because of that. Obviously, we already know all of the world building, all of that. So the first book I found a little bit more difficult to get into at the beginning. I'm not finding that with this one, which does make sense because everything has been established. The only thing that I have had to get used to with this one is it's gone from single point of view. In the first book, it was all solely from Elspeth's point of view, to this book, which is multiple point of view, and currently it's 3 different point of views, and I'm not sure if more will come later. But yes, there are currently 3 point of views in this, which is a little bit strange for me to have gotten into. Yeah, so that's the only thing. I'm really enjoying it. It's really atmospheric. As I said, it's jumped pretty much straight into the plot, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this continues. And you know, I haven't read loads, but I'm just past the first section, 25% of the way through, so not too bad. So I'm really looking forward to continuing. Yeah, I haven't been reading loads. I actually have been knitting, so that's another hobby that I have. I love to do all of the crafts. So I am currently making my Nana jumper, and it's all on the needles bunched up, so I can't really show it you, but here is what I've been working on. So I've been watching YouTube videos and working on this in between reading, which is why my progress is not as you would expect. But it is nearly 9 o'clock now, so I'm thinking in a little while, maybe about half an hour's time, I'm going to get myself upstairs and have a shower and get into bed, because sadly I do have to go to work tomorrow and I really don't want to. So yeah, I want to make sure that I am all fresh and cozy in bed, ready for an early morning tomorrow. I think that is everything for this bank holiday Monday, and I will check in with you most likely tomorrow now. We're going to say see you later, Dottie. You're going to say see you later. No, you're going to say I want to eat the fairy lights. No eating the fairy lights. It's Tuesday now and I am back at work for the week, and it's quite a busy week. It's going to be quite a busy 2 weeks at least for me, so I probably won't be doing as much reading as usual, but I will still try. And because of that, last night I didn't read too much more of One Dark Window. I think I read another chapter in bed after I had a shower, and then the chapter after that said it was going to be 20 minutes long and I was too tired. So I have picked up The Three Queens, which is the third book in the Filthy Rich Vampire series by Geneva Lee. I've not read much of this either. I've only just got to chapter 3 and I'm 14 pages in. So this is about a vampire and a human. It is a romance. So there are these vampires who, so the premise of the first book is there are these vampires, they're throwing this really fancy lavish party, and the main character, Thea, is a cellist and she's playing at this party, and unfortunately she ends up in a situation where she learns that vampires are real. So Julian, the male main character, is a vampire and he basically protects her and he keeps her safe, but he realizes that he can't control her. So vampires are able to like control people, like, you know, tell them to do things, and he can't do that with Thea. So he has to look, he can't wipe her memory to say forget that you ever saw any of this, so he needs to protect her, and obviously it's a romance. The two of them end up getting together. So this is the third book, which has obviously progressed from there, but I just find these are really easy to read and they're really short. So this is just over 300 pages, so I'm just using this as something easy to read at the moment while work is busy. I will try and keep up with Two Twisted Crowns. I realised I called it One Dark Window earlier. I meant Two Twisted Crowns, which is the second book in the series. But it's just that takes a lot more thought, which is great, but just not at the moment. So yeah, I am just making some progress with this, and yeah, they're okay. Nothing groundbreaking, but they're quite easy to read, and I bought the whole series before I'd even started it, so I think there's just one more after this. And yeah, I am looking forward to getting into this a little bit more. I just thought I would do a quick reading update. I am currently, I'm not sure if you can see, editing the vlog on the laptop. It is 9:45. I have read a little bit more of Three Queens. I'm not even 100 pages in, I'm 78 pages in. I'm just finding it a little bit boring, in all honesty. Without giving any, well, okay, maybe minor spoiler, so just maybe skip ahead a few seconds. But basically, it's a vampire and human, and she, of course, at one point says, "Oh, you know, how about turning me into a vampire?" And he goes crazy, and it's like, no. Then in this book, quite close to the beginning, they're having sex, and he's like, "Let me turn you into a vampire," and she says no, and he goes in a mood about it, and then she's like, "No, let me explain. I don't mean no, I mean I want to think about it. It's a really big decision." And he's like, "Oh, well, I wouldn't have done it straight away." All right, do not get sassy about it. So that's annoyed me. And then just a more stylistic choice. This is multiple POV. So it is predominantly the two main characters, Theo and Julian. And if this has happened, it's happened in this book once, and it has happened in the other two books, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit in those two. But it will flick from one point of view to the other, and it will kind of repeat something. So for example, one character will say something at the end of their point of view, and then in the next person's point of view, which is directly after, it will repeat it. And it just really annoys me because we've just read it. We don't need that again. It's not like we're flicking timelines, so we need to go, oh, okay, so we were in the past and now we're back to the present, so I'm referencing a line that was said previously, so we're now at this point in time. It's literally immediately after. And I know that's possibly just really nitpicky, but it's happened more than once and throughout the series, and it's happened again, and it's not necessary. You don't need to repeat the exact line that's just been read. Just continue on. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, they're pretty easy to read. The plot hasn't really picked up much in this just yet, so it's not really gotten into it. But yeah, I think things are busy at the moment. My attention span is not doing great, and because the story's not solid, it's not gripping me. But I will just keep it going. It's just a nice, easy, more of a mindless read, so I will just keep going with that. But yeah, I thought I'd give you a quick update and a little bit of a complaint before I get fully into editing for the rest of the evening. It's now 20 to 6 on Wednesday evening, and I have not read a single page, a single word, other than emails and Teams messages today. So I have finally finished work for the day, and my plan is to sit here and read for the rest of the evening because I really need to relax and calm down. I've had a horrible day. So not much of a reading update at the moment. I think I read a chapter last night before bed, so barely anything. I'm just loading it. I feel like my Kindle has suddenly gotten so slow, and I don't understand what's happened. I can't remember when I last checked in about this book. I know I've read a little bit of it, but I am now on page 161, chapter 22. I think I'd mentioned that I'd got to part 2. I'm seeing how many chapters part 2 I am, but my Kindle is very slow. Oh, okay, quite a few actually, so I'm quite a bit of the way into this, but yeah, 35% of the way through, and I'm still really enjoying it. Look how slow that is. Still really enjoying it. It's definitely gripping me a lot more than the last one. It's just that the chapters are a little bit longer and I'm having to concentrate on it, and with how busy I've been, I just haven't felt like I've got the brain capacity to focus on anything, so it's fallen on the wayside a little bit, which is why I was trying to read Filthy Rich Vampire series, but then that's not engaging enough for my brain that it's just, yeah, this is kind of a non-update to say I haven't read any, but I hadn't checked in at all today. So I'm hoping that I can get some of this read and relax, take it easy, and I will be back with some further updates a little bit later. 10, and I have actually done a little bit of reading, and I've been reading more of Three Queens. I'm now 134 pages in, so I'm almost halfway through, and it's just okay. I'm not loving it, I'm not hating it, I just don't really have any strong feelings either way. The main characters are a little bit annoying. They're supposed to be mates and they just don't know how to communicate with each other, and they're always getting into arguments. Well, not even arguments, but like just they're not communicating with each other, and it's just getting on my nerves a little bit. It's difficult to say too much about it because it's the third book in a series, but not a whole bunch has happened yet, but I feel like it's just started to pick up. So we've kind of been hinted at who the major villain is, has kind of cropped up. There's been some conflict, and the main character has now just left to deal with something. So I feel like she is now going off to figure out what's going on. But it's like it talks about there's like something happened, which happened so far, but the hint on the back of this says that they travel to Venice, and that starts whatever is the main purpose of this book, and they are planning now to go to Venice, so that I'm assuming now is going to be for the rest of the book. But I'm just finding it's quite quick to read. As I said, it's just really simple and easy. They're not my favourite books at all, but they're inoffensive, which really is kind of what I need right now with how busy everything is. It's just nice to pick something up and not have to think about it too much. But I think my bed is calling me, so I am going to get myself into bed and possibly read a couple more chapters of this. I'm really hoping that I can get this finished the next day or two, because it would just be nice to get this off the TBR. It's now Thursday. I'm on my lunch break, back in the same spot that I'm always in. I do have Dottie on my lap. So yeah, and I have been reading more of Three Queens. So I read some of this before I got up this morning, and I've just read a little bit on my lunch break. So I'm now 180 pages in, so I think it's only 300 pages overall, so not actually all that much left to read. So I'm hoping that I can get this finished. It would be good to get this finished tonight, but I'm not sure if I will, just because I've got a busy time at work. I might have to stay over a little bit. We've got to go out and vote, all that stuff, but hopefully I can get a good chunk of this, and if not finished today, then tomorrow, which would be really good. The story has started to pick up. There was a reveal in this which actually shocked me. I didn't see it coming at all. Now, I don't know whether that's just because I haven't really been properly paying attention, or whether it was just a good reveal, but for me it shocked me. I wasn't expecting it, so that works. So yeah, it really caught me this morning, so that was interesting. And yeah, I think the rest of this book is going to be hopefully quite good and interesting to see what happens with that reveal, what happens next. It does seem like it's ramping up now for a big potential fight, and then we shall see how it all resolves. I haven't been reading anything else, so it's just that, and haven't been, other than working, I haven't been doing anything else either, so this is quite a quick update for today, and potentially I will give you a little bit of an update later if I get some more reading done. It's almost 10 o'clock and I'm getting ready to get myself into bed, so I thought I'd just give you a quick update on my reading progress. So I'm still reading Three Queens. I'm 232 pages in, so I think I've got roughly 80 pages to go. I don't think I'll get this finished tonight, but I'm really hoping that I can get this finished tomorrow. I think the second half of this has been much more interesting than the first half. First half I was quite bored. I wasn't particularly interested. Plot took a little bit of time to get into it. Quite a short book as well. I was a bit confused with why it was taking so long to get into it, but then the second half I found has been really interesting. happening. There's been some reveals that I wasn't expecting at all, and there's been some more things happening in this that have intrigued me. So I actually am finding this a lot better, but it's still quite an easy read for me, which is really good at the moment. I don't have to think too hard about reading it. The writing style's quite easy and the chapters aren't particularly long either, so I'm finding that's really great at the moment, because I have just been really busy, so it's just nice to pick up a book and not have to think too hard about it. But I'm definitely enjoying the second half more, and I'm intrigued to see where this will go. I've got a theory about one thing, and I am just waiting to see what happens next. So yeah, I think I'm going to get myself into bed and read a couple of chapters on this before I go to sleep. So I have survived the work week. It is now Friday evening and I am done with work. I have finished my book. So I finished Three Queens. I gave it 3 stars. The second half of this and then the last third for definite were much more interesting than the first half. I enjoyed it. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of interesting things happening that just kept me turning the pages. The chapters were really short, which was really good. There was I think it was supposed to be a little bit of a twist, but there was something that happened sort of towards the end of this book which I had guessed earlier on. There was something that was mentioned, and as soon as that happened I had a feeling what was going to happen, so I kind of knew, which was a little bit disappointing. But overall with these books I find that they are a little bit predictable, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It was exactly what I needed this week, just to have a nice easy book that I could just pick up and not have to worry about too much. So that was really good. And yeah, I will definitely be just finishing the series off, because it's just one more book left, and I can see that what's happened at the end of this is going to continue on into that, so I'd like to see how that's all going to conclude. We are currently waiting for pizza to be delivered, because we're having pizza as a Friday night treat, and then after that I think I'm going to get myself in the bath as always and read some more of Two Twisted Crowns on my Kindle, which is in the living room, so I can't show you that, but I haven't really read any more on that since the last time I spoke about it. So I'm hoping that this weekend I pick that back up and get back into it, and yeah, read a good chunk of that. So I'm looking forward to it, and I will check in later if I make any progress. I have had the nicest bath. It has honestly been so relaxing, and the bubble, like, I bought this bubble bath from an independent market store we had a couple of weeks ago, and honestly it's so nice. So I think I was in the bath for about an hour and a half, and I managed to read more of Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I'm now 59% of the way through. I'm over 200 pages in. I'm 266 pages in. I think I'm quite close to getting to the third section of this. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm still really enjoying this. I'm getting back into this again, and I don't want to put it down. It's difficult because I don't want to say too much about it without, because I don't want to spoil it, but I'm really enjoying it. I think the Nightmare is one of my favourite characters. I think he's amazing. And yeah, I can't remember, I'm sure I mentioned it, but this is multiple POV, so that's been a little bit of a weird one to get used to, but it's actually been really nice to see the different characters and hear from their points of view, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how everything that's been building up is going to wrap up in this one. So I'm really hoping that I can actually get this finished at the weekend, which would be really nice. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. And then, just because it is now 10:30 and I'm going to get myself into bed very shortly. I'm just finishing off the hot chocolate they have in my groggy mug. But once I finish that, I'm going to get myself into bed. But I just thought I'd quickly just do a refresh and a recap on the 2 books that I finished. So see, I finished books first this week, which was actually I finished this quite quickly, so I gave this 3 stars, and although the ending wasn't the best personally, I overall enjoyed it. And I'm just really glad, because this is a book that I've had on my list to read for such a long time. So I'm really glad that I finally managed to get this finished and checked off the list. And then the second book that I finished today, I finished this one today, was Three Queens, the third book in the Filthy Rich Vampire series. And again, I gave this 3 stars. I feel like this is the vlog of 3 stars. And again, I enjoyed it overall. It was nice and easy to read. I definitely enjoyed the second half of it more than the first half, and I am intrigued to see how this wraps up and finishes, and one step closer to having a series that I've been reading finished. So I think that's pretty good for a week to have finished 2 books and be 60%, basically 60% of the way through a third. So I think I will leave the weekly reading vlog here, and just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and please do like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.